Huge news was just confirmed by Tesla because Tesla just confirmed and announced a new model. It's actually real and I believe it's going to do pretty well. It's a bigger Model Y and Tesla stock investors are definitely celebrating. And it said that the first 6-seater refresh Model Y has already rolled off the production line at Giga Factory Shanghai. So not only is it confirmed that the vehicle will be launched, it's actually already being produced. So far we are getting the news that it's a 6-seater and the estimated price is supposedly going to be about $56,000. And I definitely agree with this. It's a good price point in Tesla's lineup, definitely helps fill that gap between the Model Y and the Model X. And as you know, I recently got a new Model Y. Well, I would have definitely taken this one instead. That one supposedly is going to have second row ventilated seats. And it's officially announced by Tesla that it will launch its Model Y L, meaning large, in China this fall. People are also pointing out that the interior is a little bit different. If you look at the seats here, you can see that the headrest is a little bit different. So overall, this longer Model Y is expected to be more of a true 3-row SUV. And so far, and this is quite puzzling and interesting, it's only going to be released in China. And I'm a bit surprised that we are not releasing this first in the US because people usually like bigger vehicles here, definitely a lot more than in China. So that's very surprising. But I guess actually it was the team in China that developed and made this new Model Y. And so therefore, it does make sense for them to launch over there first. That's my guess. So this new car is definitely heavier than the previous Model Y. It's 7 inches longer than the current Model Y. Tesla's Model X is 198.3 inches long. So the Model X is still about this much longer. Oh, and I didn't quite expect this one, but it's also taller than the current Model Y. I'm not sure if it's because the wheels have more clearance now or if it's because the actual vehicle is taller. I definitely agree with Sawyer that this is what people have wanted for years and Tesla finally delivered. It's going to sell very well and finally people will be able to buy a bigger Tesla SUV but at Model Y-like prices. Before, if you wanted a bigger 3-row SUV from Tesla, you had to spend over $30,000 more to get a Model X, and the Model Y L will be a great family vehicle without the crazy doors. I know many people that buy the Model X, they buy it for the doors, but also many people actually don't like the doors because it brings too much attention. And also from my personal experience using these doors, I mean, if you want to show up, it's great. But if you just want to use the car practically, it takes quite a while for the doors to open up. So I want to get in the vehicle, but the door is not open. And if it's sunny and the weather is good, that's fine. But if it's pouring and raining, that's a bit annoying. And if you are a driver of that car, the way the door handle is designed, it's fine. But if you are a passenger, I have found the sensors, I don't know. I just tried to open the door and sometimes it just doesn't work. Turns out one time it was because of the specific settings set in the car and none of us knew about that. Then we changed the settings and occasionally we still had issues, but it wasn't as bad. But it's still, I would rather just have the Model Y handles. And then for me personally, the biggest thing is I know that FSD on the Model X compared to a Model Y, it definitely doesn't work as well. Now with this new one, maybe it is also not going to work as well, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be significantly better. Also, if you just saw this car in the wild, you wouldn't know that it's actually a different Model Y. You would think it's the same thing. If you really know the Model Y, you will know it's a different car, but the differences are rather subtle. Here's a side-by-side comparison. This is the old Model Y, and this one is a longer Model Y. I actually think this one overall looks a little bit better, actually, at least from the side. There's just something about the proportions, I think it just looks a little bit better. So now that we got this new, bigger Model Y, and Tesla has promised before that they will release new, more affordable models, I believe what we saw here just recently is indeed a smaller Model Y that is not the same Model Y. And here, it certainly looks a bit smaller. It could be some lens distortion, yes, but I do believe it's a bit smaller. And I think when this is going to be finally announced and confirmed, this will move the stock a little bit because I think a lot of people are so exhausted. A lot of investors are now just convinced that Tesla is actually not going to release an actually smaller Tesla Model Y, that they have completely given up the idea despite seeing some potential indications of the opposite happening. I just want to give a shout out to Tesla, how good of a job they have done to hide that they are actually working on a smaller vehicle. Now, this is still my guess, but Tesla is working on a smaller vehicle. This is not confirmed, but based on everything that we have seen, my current guess is that Tesla is going to release a smaller vehicle. And if somehow they decide not to, it's not because we are now working on one, because I believe that they are definitely working on one. But the really big important thing for Tesla right now is Tesla's Robotaxi network getting bigger. And Tesla's service area right now in Austin is actually bigger than Waymo's. In fact, Tesla's geofence area in Austin alone now covers 7% of Waymo's entire service area across all cities that they operate in the US. And then watch this. Phoenix alone makes up more than 50% of Waymo's total geofence coverage, and Tesla recently filed to start operating their Robotaxi service in the Phoenix metro area. A decision from Arizona on whether they get the approvals is expected in the next couple of weeks. So big news possibly coming up here. And look, the markets clearly like this news today about the new Tesla model. The stock is up about 3% as I'm recording. And if you like seeing Tesla stock up, make sure to click the like button right now and subscribe if you haven't yet. Oh, and we got more news about the Robotaxi expansion. So Elon Musk said, yep, to this. Yes, this is real. The Robotaxi network expanded and costs $6.90 per ride now, up from $4.20. Elon. Oh, Elon, I love you. Oh God, he even said penetrating the market. I like how Tesla already conveniently cut off certain parts of the expansion, and their title is even better. Tesla's Robotaxi expansion wasn't a joke, it was a warning to competitors. They write, while the shape of its new service area might be cocky, it surely is not a joke, it's a warning to competitors. This whole Teslarati article here is just a masterpiece. Good job, Teslarati. Now, interestingly, Stephen Mark Ryan also made a video reporting about this news, and probably he did it in a more interesting way. Maybe he pointed out what the shape is actually referring to, and that video of his got demonetized, or it's basically earning maybe like 1% or 5% of what it normally would from the ads. There's quite a conflict between Fred Lambert from Electric and Omar, and Omar just posted, Fred Lambert has sued Tesla for allegedly stealing his likeness with their new Austin Robotaxi geofence. This is, of course, not actual news, but I thought it was interesting. Good news, however, today doesn't stop. We also got the numbers from China, and despite being so early in the quarter, actually the deliveries looked really good. So this was a pleasant surprise. This news came out yesterday morning, so the stock is now moving because of this today, because this would have been baked into the Tesla stock price yesterday. But definitely good news. Oh, and as far as the width of the new Model Y, it's 75.5 inches, and the Model X is about 3 inches wider. So the width of the Model Y actually is basically unchanged. And then we got the final results, and the final results are even better than expected. Out of 24,500 votes, 81.6% of the voters said that they would vote yes on a shareholder proposal for Tesla to invest in XAI. And keep in mind that quite a few people actually said see results, so this doesn't actually reflect the actual number that would have happened if we didn't have this option. And then 4.8% also said not sure. So in reality, this number would probably be closer to 85-ish%. But remember that the followers of Sawyer are generally going to be Tesla bulls, and not all shareholders are such big bulls. But this gives us a very good idea of how people are actually going to vote, and it will be a surprise to me if the vote doesn't actually pass. So Tesla is putting a potential Tesla XAI, which includes X merger, to a shareholder vote. It's not really a merger, it's going to be an investment. Elon said that he does not want a merger, but Gary Black says this is the fairest way to resolve this, and I agree with this. But how are institutional investors going to vote? Well, institutions would generally oppose it, says Gary, on dilution grounds. So 12 to 15% dilution on certain incremental earnings, conglomerate discount, while retail investors would likely support it. Not sure why Elon would want to sell XAI now, since XAI likely to grow much faster than Tesla over the next 5 years. Acquisition by Tesla would allow Elon's stake in Tesla to increase to 20-ish%. Well, the reason why Elon would do this is because it's not a merger. So Elon will have full control of XAI. He will have increased control of Tesla. And regardless of whatever he does need to raise more money for XAI. So why just not get it from Tesla and also benefit Tesla investors and make Tesla investors your bigger allies? And one more thing, which I think is extremely valid that Elon Musk has mentioned why he does want to have investors overall is when you have investors, you do have more allies. These people will defend you. These people will fight for you. These people will advocate for you. And Elon wants to build the smartest, biggest AI, and he definitely needs to have some big, strong allies for him to successfully do that. Having more allies definitely does not hurt, but he actually needs funding too. So why just not get the funding from allies that want to give you funding? And now Gary's catalysts for Tesla stock, positive ones. The streamlining of federal processes allowing Tesla to secure general and supervised autonomy license nationally. It's probably a bit harder to get that done now because of the feud with the president, but I think it has largely been put in motion now, and I don't think it's going to be reversed. Then number 2, FSD licensing deal with one or more OEMs, and with Tesla expanding its Robotaxi network, it has certainly increased Tesla's chances of other OEMs approaching Tesla and saying, hey, we have to have this in our cars too. Work with us, please. And by the time Tesla's Robotaxi network becomes the biggest and clearly the best, by then I think we will certainly have OEMs knocking on Tesla's doors. Doesn't mean that the deals will have been made by then, but talks will be in action. And remember what happened with supercharging deals when Tesla started making these? The stock basically exploded. Get ready to experience the same thing here again, but on a much bigger scale because this is going to be a much bigger deal. Number 3, Tesla removes safety drivers from robotaxis, expands to states outside Texas. Its critical disengagements fall to 1 per 10,000 miles by 2025 year end. The Delaware Supreme Court overturning Chancellor McCormick's 2018 compensation ruling late 2025. I cannot wait for this because we want Elon to be paid. Number 5, Cybercab production begins early 2026. And number 6, Optimus production begins late 2026. Okay, now some roadblocks. Number 1, Trump administration restricting state efforts to control carbon emissions, which could significantly reduce Tesla's ZEV sales. Tesla fails to introduce new, cheaper form factor in 2025 and instead cuts prices and costs similar to 2023 and 2024. I think this is less likely to happen now that we have the bigger Tesla Model Y, which basically indicates that Tesla is actually working on real new models, not just stripped down or upgraded same models, by which I mean they also change the size. Wait, what? Gary sees this as a negative? No way. Tesla issues 12 to 15% new equity to acquire XAI under Tesla corporate umbrella, requires Tesla shareholder approval. So this is how fund managers think. They think investing into XAI is going to be a negative thing for Tesla. This is one of the worst Wall Street takes out there right now. Then Gary talks about earnings. And then number 5, Tesla 2025 PE ratio of 170, too high relative to 2025 and 2030 EPS growth of 25%. Average forward PE past 3 years was about 80, he says. But in the last 3 years, did Tesla actually have a robotaxi network working and operating? Here's one more positive catalyst. If Tesla stock drops at any time, ARK Invest, they are going to buy a bunch of Tesla stock. Indeed, they just bought more Tesla stock again. ARK bought $35 million worth of Tesla shares and increased their exposure to Tesla by 1% in their ARKW fund. Another thing that Gary Black is not mentioning in the positive catalyst is, and how come he's not talking about this, by the way? Maybe I missed it, but I haven't seen Gary Black even address this. Baidu is admitting that LiDAR is not needed. So as these companies finally start admitting that, what do you think is that going to do to Tesla stock? Because to make cameras work just with a pure vision approach, you need a lot of data. And if you have been trying to use LiDAR to solve full self-driving, data is something that you're missing. So unless you have millions of vehicles on the roads today collecting data for you, you are going to be left behind by Tesla. Unless somehow Tesla would just sell you this data. But even then, the car sizes are different. The cars drive differently, so that also is a thing. FSD on my Tesla Model Y works so much better than in a Tesla Model X. But anyway, Waymo actually announced just now recently that they have finally driven 100 million fully autonomous miles on public roads. Stern Basher estimates that currently Waymo is doing 300,000 autonomous miles per day. Waymo's fleet has grown to more than 1,500 vehicles now. So the average daily miles reached per vehicle is around 200 miles actually. But the clock is ticking for this whole business. The Tesla dropped the mic here. So y'all think the media will show our updated Robotaxi geofence in the reporting or no? It's literally just our logo upside down. That is a very good observation. I did not realize this before. I am sorry for missing that important detail. Now, there's one thing that Tesla definitely needs to work on a little bit more with a Robotaxi. Take a listen here.
There was one incident that I did not get on camera, but we were waiting at a light, and there was also a railroad crossing right by that traffic area. And as we were waiting, the lights came on for the train to come by, and the the arm started coming down, and the Robotaxi did not see that, and the safety observer had to do a stop of the vehicle until the train had passed. And so I would say that there's a little bit of that work that still needs to be polished up with the software. But otherwise, I think it's been just an amazing opportunity to see how well the expanded service is working.
One simple way for Tesla to solve problems like this temporarily is to just simply not let Tesla Robotaxis go through intersections where there could be trains, or simply just have more data with trains, run more vehicles specifically through train tracks and where trains come, and naturally over time that will be definitely solved. But here's something quite amazing. This is from China. This vehicle was on FSD, and this guy that was driving was actually about to intervene because the Tesla vehicle just started moving forward for no reason. But then later he realized, oh, there was this car trying to force its way through, and if the Tesla vehicle would not have moved forward, perhaps there would have been a few scratches, and FSD helped avoid that from happening. So with Tesla having launched in India, there's some more news coming out from there. Tesla actually hopes that India's current high automotive import tax of 70 to 100% will be reduced to around 10% in the near future, which will enable them to not only bring down the cost of the Model Y for the consumer, but also enable them to import cars from Giga Berlin instead of Giga Shanghai. So in India, you can buy the Model Y for $70,000. All right, that's because of the tariffs, I assume. In the US, you can buy the same vehicle for $45,000-ish. But if you remember, India actually created some incentives for auto manufacturers that invest in the country. In these cases, then India promised to waive these higher tariffs, and obviously Tesla is not taking advantage of this, meaning that Tesla did not invest anything in India, or that these plans have not materialized in anything that India would say, okay, yeah, we're good with that. You can have lower tariffs now. And this is Tesla's first showroom in India. This was right before it was actually opened. So it's a good start for now, and we'll see if Tesla can get these tariffs to come down. Oh, and then we got this news. Tesla is reportedly planning to double the number of stores in Japan to 50 by end of next year. So Tesla is going to try to penetrate that market. In Japan, Tesla sales so far have been, relatively speaking, not high at all, despite Japan being one of the largest automotive markets in the world. And the next, after 15 years at Tesla, Troy Jones, the VP of North America Sales and Service, is leaving the company. Sawyer thanks him for everything he did at Tesla and wishes him good luck in the future. So if you remember, about a month ago, this high-level executive was actually fired by Elon, and I think this one is probably sort of connected to that as well. I cannot find any information about this specific person being fired. I think he probably just exited voluntarily. You might see what happened to the other guy, and he's saying, well, the same thing might happen to me here too, so I might as well just leave now. He might also have been presented some other opportunities which he thought maybe might be better for him. Overall, definitely, I don't think this is actually bad news. I think this is basically no news. At least nothing that we investors should be concerned about. But Omar said, sorry to see him go. He always really cared about the customers, wishing him all the best. Sawyer also said he's a really cool dude. Oh, and overall, we got some good EV news here. Global EV sales hit 9.1 million in the first half of 2025, up 28% from the same period last year. However, obviously, not every region is accelerating at the same pace. China is up, Europe is up, while North America lags. Canada is down 23%, and the US is up just 6% ahead of the tax credit cutoff this September. We got some news from Giga Berlin. Around 5,000 cars per week are built there, and they are already sold before they even roll off the production line, so everything is done quite effectively. And of course, in Giga Berlin, when these cars are produced, they all drive fully autonomously just with cameras and AI to the parking lot. Oh, we now have a sign that actually Grok AI may be coming to Intel powered Teslas too. It's not going to be just with cars, but have the AMD chip in them. Also, we just found out that the Tesla diner will be open 24/7, so that's cool. And here's how Grok works in your car. So this sort of just hangs in there. And once you choose from the options here, for example, you can make it a storyteller or an assistant. You got further options down here. And so far, the early users seem to be really impressed by it. Elon also confirmed that this feature is coming. Would be cool to have an optional, hey Grok, wake word in our Teslas. Here's someone else who used it, and he says he's insanely impressed actually, despite having been a bit skeptical at first. So Grok in Teslas actually pretty useful. Also, as Tesla stock investors, we should definitely understand how the computers in the Tesla vehicles work and how many of them actually there are in the vehicles. So there's a media control unit called an MCU, and this runs the user interface on the Tesla touchscreen. And the autopilot computer contains multiple computers, basically two small computers, which run the code that drives your car. And this is not the same computer and not even the same executable code. So programs for one won't run on the other. And that's why you can reboot your car computer MCU by holding down both scroll wheels on the steering wheel without affecting the autopilot computer's ability to drive. And that's why the main screen crashing doesn't impact how the car drives, ability to disengage, etc. Oh, and then a new Grok version is coming soon. Elon explains a big capability jump here with this new foundation model and says that Grok 4.2 is inevitable. 4.20 specifically. Congratulations to Nvidia investors. Nvidia stock just reached a new all-time high of 171. There was a bit of a jump yesterday because it will be allowed to resume sales to China of a specific chip. And I found this news, which is definitely good for Tesla stock investors. So this is the son of the president, and he basically has financial interest in Elon Musk's companies and is looking past the billionaire's public fallout with his dad, the president. And then his partner said, I'm long on Elon, our fund is. We think the Elon index, if you will, is something that's here to stay. And the companies are demonstrating their success independent of whatever personal issues may happen. Now, if you were the son of the president, and if you really thought that the president was going to do something seriously bad to hurt Elon's companies, would you still have financial interest in those companies? If you thought that would create some serious long-term harm, I don't think so. So overall, for us Tesla stock investors, this is definitely good news. So today, overall, definitely good news for Tesla stock. Make sure to click the like button if you like that. And I believe the Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share. And after that, well above it. My name is Matt Posius, and I will see you in the next video, probably on Friday.